or it could be that they just don't care. Writing is a lot different from the other art forms. A person can glance at a painting on the wall or run their hand along the thigh of a sculpture, or listen to a song while they're doing the dishes, or they can watch 5 minutes of a movie and know whether they're going to enjoy it or not. But reading takes a real commitment. It's a very personal kind of love affair you're asking the reader to enter into. It's as intimate as marriage. You're not only asking the reader to take a look, but to step inside, find a nesting place, settle down and get comfortable. A good writer is in a wild, reckless love affair with the world, with both worlds, the one inside him and the one outside. I first fell in love with writing when I first learned to read, and parenthetically, if anyone ever asked me any advice on how to learn to write, my answer would be one word, and that word would be read. Read everything you can get your hands on. When I was little, I read everything. Books, newspapers, magazines, the backs of cereal boxes, shampoo labels. Any word I could find I wanted to read. I was in love with the shapes of words, the sounds of them, the worlds that could be contained in their tiny, impeccable letters. Think about it, what one word can do, what one word can make you feel. A word as simple as the word stay. When you've hurt the one you love, hurt them so deeply that you're sure the wound cannot be sutured. When the hurt is so bad, you're sure it's over, and there's nothing you can do but walk out the door. And just as you get to the door, the one you love says, stay. I believe it's one of the most beautiful words in the English language. Or a word like almost. Almost persuaded. Almost in love. But it can be good too. It's almost too late. So I love words, and the first novel I ever read, or I remember reading, is Robinson Crusoe. I remember getting pulled into Defoe's world from the first sentence. I remember the black sky above me and the monstrous waves sweeping over me. Being tossed about, my stomach sick and my heart faint. The ship being swallowed down by the white sea and me adrift on a piece of wood. I remember waking on the uncharted island, the sounds of the strange, ferocious jungle, the heat of the equatorial sun on my shoulders, the nauseous, heavy feeling of knowing that I was all alone. I was there. His memories are my memories. And when he saw the smoke of that distant ship on the horizon, I saw it too, and my heart leapt and then sank as it disappeared off the edge of the world. And I marvel at how this man, Daniel Defoe, writing over 200 years ago in England, could have such power over a little boy in East Tennessee. And I wanted that kind of power. I wanted that kind of immortality. So I made modest but sincere attempts at writing. I'd make up stories and I'd write them down. Stories about cowboys and aliens and soldiers and firemen. And if you could read them now, I think you'd agree that none of them are worthy of any prestigious awards. A lot of them don't even make sense. But all of them are true. I put my little heart into each of them. Later in my teenage years, I lost the truth of writing. I was more concerned with form than content. I was so worried about what people thought that I lost what was true. I became, used to write poetry. And I guess it was about my sophomore year I found out that women, young girls, really dig a poet. So I would write poetry, but I never really had the guts to write poetry and give it to a person. I would write it for boys in school, and they'd tell me whose name to put on it. They would pay me, so that was my first paid gig. But was writing for a specific audience.